Hello everybody and welcome to the Scuffed Radio channel. Today we're going to be doing a review slash demo of the Diamond NR-22LH. It is a 5/8 over 5/8 collinear 2 meter antenna monoband, only does 2 meter, and the unique thing about this antenna is that it can handle some serious power. See that phasing coil there in the middle? That thing can handle 280 watts. It's rated at 280. I have put it up at 280 before and it's been okay. It hasn't melted down or anything. I actually melted my my Hustler CG144. I blew it out running too much power through it. So we're going to be doing a little bit of demo. I've been running this for about a month now. I've been on a lot of road trips with it. I've been up and down all over the country with it. And I have some good insights on this antenna and how it works. We are going to head up to the mountain like I usually do, and we're going to see how far away we can talk, as I usually do. But before we do that, let's talk about the physical aspects of this antenna. Here is the base of the antenna. It has a PL259 style mount, which I had to adapt from NMO. This puck mount here is an NMO, so I have to get a adapter, and that's just a generic Comet brand adapter that adapts it to what I need. From there, we have no spring. So the low power version of this antenna, the Diamond NR-22L, has the tilt over mechanism. The high power version does not have that. And I originally attempted with just a basic NR-22L. I actually bought one and tried it out, and I could not get the SWR to tune down unless the spring was pulled out, unless the antenna was pulled out of the socket preparing to tilt over. So I don't know whether I had a defective one or something about my setup did not work with that, or maybe it was just a design flaw in the antenna. But I could never get that to tune up, so I sent it back and got this instead once I learned there was a high power version. You cannot get this high power version from just anywhere. I was only able to get it on, I believe it was Ham Radio Outlet. Nowhere else has this even listed. It's not even listed on Diamond's official website, so it is kind of hard to get, but they had them in stock and it came and it was the right product, so I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, back to the antenna itself. We have the first 5/8 element here, and then we have the coil. You see the wires in this coil are very thick compared to most antennas. In the grand scheme of things, they're not all that thick, and if I want to run full power on this giant amplifier I have in the back of my truck, I'm definitely going to need something a lot thicker, but for now it'll do the job. And then we have the other 5/8 wave on top. Now as you can see, that's not perfectly straight. So I've been running this for about a month, like I said. The length of this antenna is such that we are over the 13.5 foot clearance limit for road vehicles. So the antenna does collide with things on the roof of my 2006 Chevrolet Suburban. My 102-inch whip also has very slight defects in it now. I've been able to keep it mostly straight. I would love to get some kind of like metal roller or something so I could like straighten it out periodically and make it perfect, but for now I just get up on the roof and bend it back into shape. So it is easy to fix when it happens, but it does happen being so high up. So with that being said, let's go over the mounting setup one more time. We have a Breedlove Mounts NMO puck mount. It's a custom made mount. It's a giant 4-inch puck. The underside of the roof is reinforced with a 3/8 inch thick sheet of aluminum. Everything is tightened down really tight. There's lap seal between the aluminum panel and the roof. And then the feed line we have is 1/2 inch Andrew Heliax, and it runs through the truck. There's about 6 foot worth of that. Then the coax runs from the mount through the side of the truck, down the A-pillar, across underneath the trim here, and it comes out here as an end connector. This cable right now just runs straight into the back of my Yaesu 8900. So with that being said, we're gonna head up to the mountain here and we're gonna see just how far we can talk with this thing. It is a very hot July day. It's about 100 degrees according to the thermometer. It's not so bad here in the shade. We're gonna go up on the mountain and see what we can see. There are no conditions, I've already checked. There are no propagation beacons pointing towards there being tropospheric ducting or just ground wave or anything like that. So all of this will be pure, direct performance of the truck. So let's get started. Let's head up to the mountain and see what we can do. Check this out. There's nobody up here. This is fantastic. I'm gonna get the best spot here. Finally. Every time I come up here, it's always so busy. But here we go. Check it out.
My wife was 11. She used to play with him, man. She run him to the kitchen all the way to the living room in here.
I don't know if we've got like Saharan dust or something out here, man, but there's like a fog out right now. Check that out. That's a cool view. Almost can't even see the towers over there. But here we go, we're up on the mountain. We've got the 8900 here. So I think it's time we start making some calls. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go on 5.2 Simplex. Check to make sure we don't have a noise floor. And no, there's no static. Scroll that up just enough to block out the static there. And let's put out a call or two. Let's take the mic here. By the way, I got this up on a gear keeper. I think that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and call out here on 5.2 Simplex and see if we can't get anybody. This is Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu on the Cecil Ashburn Drive lookout in Huntsville. Is there anybody out there today? KM4 OVZ.
KM4 OVD, KV4AN, name is Steve, over.
Roger that, Steve. This is Joseph, Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu, actually. I am up here on the lookout trying out a new mobile antenna. Could you give me a rough estimate of where you are located?
Okay, Joseph, I am located in Tony.
Roger that. Yes, I know where Tony is. So you've actually got a mountain between me and you, or at least part of a mountain. It's probably about a 300-foot land here between you and me. So I think we're doing fairly good, all things considered. How are you reading me over there?
You're about half strength on the meter. You know, no problem copying you at all. I'm running 50 watts. I have a Comet GP1 that's up about 30 feet. That's the station here, over.
But thanks for coming back to me, and I'll put you down here on the imaginary log. And you know, 73 Steve, we're gonna try another CQ call here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, enjoy your hill topping, and maybe we'll work again sometime. 73 for now. KM4OVZ, KV4AN.
Roger that. 73 Steve there. This is Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu, looking for anybody else on the 5.2 Simplex calling channel in the North Alabama area.
KQ4RGC, returning your call.
KQ4RGC, I hear you loud and clear. This is KM4OVZ. Could you give me a rough location estimate there?
Okay, KQ4OGC, I think you said. I am in Decatur. We must be fairly close. I'm just here on a little handy talkie, hooked up to a 2-meter outside antenna, homemade outside antenna. I just heard your call, and I thought I'd like to try to get back to you.
Yeah, roger on that. Well, for being in Decatur and just using, I'm assuming, what's 5 watts, did you make a quarter wave ground plane style antenna by any chance with the 4 radials coming off the bottom?
Roger. I made it a little quarter wave. Made it out of some household, some number 10 wire, and just stuck up on a plastic pole, on a plastic pipe pole.
Roger on that, but that helps a lot because it tells me, you know, what kind of performance to expect from it, so I can gauge how well my system is working. So you're doing pretty good from Decatur. I do have a lot of elevation right now, about 1,100 feet up, but for what you got there, you're doing pretty good up here on the mountain. So I don't know how far apart we are exactly. I want to say from the outlook to just like central Decatur is probably about 10 or 15 miles. So you're doing pretty good there.
That's really great. Thank you so much.
You sound absolutely crystal clear, and I guess you ought to. How much power are you broadcasting with?
At the moment, I'm only pushing 50 watts, but it is 50 watts direct to the antenna. There's no feed line loss in the way, or if there is, it's very, very minimal. Currently, the kilowatt amplifier is not hooked up because it would probably melt this antenna. But I put a lot of work into my mobile here. I've done a lot of grounding. The mount is a very special kind of mount. Everything about it is designed to be as powerful as possible.
Well, Roger, you ought to be able to reach certainly way out to the very edge of the earth, and so I'm going to get out of your way and let you exercise yourself. This is not a really great exercise, I can see, for you. So 73s, and I hope you have a great day and enjoy your new equipment.
Thank you so much. We'll continue our call out here. 73s to you. This is Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu calling out on 52 Simplex, looking for anybody in the North Alabama area or anywhere west of there. If there's any other stations, come on.
K4OTC-87 in Hartselle, Alabama. Over.
Ah, Hartselle, okay.
I'm using an IC5100 my go box to
Alright, all I got was IC5100 and go box, and then there was a blast of static from something, I don't know what, so come on in there one more time.
on the house. And the ID5100 is in my go box. Over.
Tell me one more time the way your antenna was mounted. I got on the house, but then the static ended right at that point, and I heard on the house, but I didn't hear before that.
It's an X-ray 55, X-ray 55 diamond antenna, dual band antenna on the house.
Roger that, Diamond X55 on the house. Gotcha. Okay, you're coming in about an S3, S2 here up on the mountain, and something around here was just blasting me with static, like an S3 static blast. I don't know where that came from, but how are you hearing me? Do you got a signal strength on me? What's my readout there?
You are varying between S3 and S4. S3 and S4. Sierra 3, Sierra 4. Over.
Roger that, S3 and S4. Okay, sounding good up here. I mean, your audio's, got a little snow in it, but you sound crystal clear up here on the mountain. I don't know what that noise is, but it hasn't come back again yet. But I just looked at the map again. I'm still a little bit new to the area, but yeah, Hartselle is just south of Decatur. It's not quite as far south as I had in mind originally. So we do still have a hill blocking you and me. We've got a large terrain mass here blocking us, but you're doing pretty good for what it is.
Woodlock 73, 87, yes.
73's to you as well. We'll take a break here for just a second, and I'll call it one more time before I switch over to doing repeaters. Game 4Z. Alright, now we're going to switch over to doing repeaters. So the way I usually do this is by getting on repeater book here, and we just start punching in 2 meter repeaters that are further and further away. We don't start with anything close by because that's just a waste of time for the most part. So we're going to scroll out here. I'm going to filter by direction. I want to be looking pretty much west because that's the way we're facing, and we're going to tell it to give us listings out for 2 miles, and we only want to see 2 meter FM. So there we go, we got all our filters put in there. Let's go ahead and see what we can see. So, alright, here we go. We're starting to get to just the due west stuff. Okay, so N4 SEV, that's only 27 miles away. I've already tested that repeater. You can hit that one too easily. Let's start off with something that's a bit of a challenge. Let's do KJ4LEL in Rogersville, 146745 with 100 hertz PL tone, 146745 with a 100 hertz. 100 hertz PL tone. All right. This repeater is 45.5 miles away.
This is WA4II. Repeater, the time is 4:25 p.m.
Alright, that was a bit odd. The call sign on that repeater was different from the one here, so I guess I don't know if that really is the same repeater or not. That is 45 miles away up here on the mountain. So let's push it a little further and go to the N4IDX in Moulton. We'll do 146,960.
Welcome all amateur radio operators. This is the N4IDX repeater in Moulton, Alabama.
PL is 107.2.
Alright, so I think that repeater I hit earlier that was on KG4LEL, I think that was a different repeater with the same PL tone. So this one is 45, let's see, this one is 45.8 miles away, and we're getting into S9 Plus. Let's push it a little further. 147,340, 57.5 miles away. 147,340 with a 100 hertz PL tone. There we go.
Alpha Charlie 4 Echo Golf repeater.
Alright, that's AC4EG. That's 57.5 miles away in Lighton. Let's push it a little further. We know we can hit these things pretty easy, so I don't want to waste too much time on stuff that's close by, or I say close. They're pretty far away. 147,320 is located in Florence, Alabama with a 100 hertz PL tone. Let's key it up. I guess that was it. We only get a very brief burst of static there, so that's interesting. I wish they'd have something a little longer. Let's get up here towards the 71.2 miles away. Let's go ahead and try this repeater here. 147,210, 103.5 hertz, 71.2 miles away. It is also on a mountain, so I suspect we'll probably be able to get into this one pretty easily, but it's 210 here. PL tone is 103.5. Let's try it.
WX4FC East repeater.
No problem at all. No problem at all. 71.2 miles away. Now, for reference, there are repeaters on Monte Sano, 2-meter repeaters on Monte Sano that have more elevation than I do, that cannot get out more than about 60 or so miles. So we're already beating out some of these repeaters. Now, we are a mobile tour repeater, but we have less elevation than a lot of the towers up here have. And that is purely because the people who run the repeaters have artificially limited the performance to keep the coverage within the desired area. So we are currently beating out repeaters on this mountain with more elevation in a mobile, which is pretty good. Oh.
EMP, you out there?
Oh.
AQ4IWN.
Okay, this is another repeater on the same mountain, so we're going to ignore that because that's literally like 3 miles away. Alright, let us try and push past the 100-mile mark. So we're going to go here to 146,850. 146,850. PL tone 141.3. There we go. We're already getting a signal here. I don't know whether that's just noise. I don't know if that's noise or if that's the actual repeater. But this is 98.2 miles away. Let's key it up and see what happens. I think that's the repeater. I believe I'm hearing the repeater, but it's just barely in the static there. And I don't know the elevation on that, so it's kind of hard to judge. But we are hearing it, just barely. Let's go ahead and push past the 100-mile mark. We'll do the 146.700, 146.700, KA4ESF 123 hertz. Let's try it. Oh, there we go. 105.5 miles away in Savannah, Tennessee. 147-700. That is pretty incredible. I'm gonna put a call out on this channel, see if I can't get anybody to come back to me. This is Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu in Huntsville, Alabama. Are there any stations on the repeater who give me a signal check? Here's the problem, is there's never anybody on these rural repeaters, because they may serve a wide area, but nobody lives out there. So getting someone on here is almost impossible. This is Kilo Mike 4 Oscar Victor Zulu. I am 100 miles from the repeater in Huntsville, Alabama. Can anybody give me a signal report? Yeah, it looks like we're not going to get one. That's a pretty common theme when I'm hitting these things so far away, so I'm not all that surprised. Let's go ahead and move on here to the next furthest repeater. So that was 105 miles away. Let's move on to 110 miles away. This repeater is located in Fulton, 145-450. And the PL tone is 192.8. Let's get this programmed in here. There we go. Let's try it. Okay, we're not getting anything on that one. Of course, without knowing the elevation and what kind of repeater it is, it's not that much help. Let's continue on. Let's try a repeater located in Tupelo, Mississippi. This is 145-490, and it has a 141.3 hertz tone. This is in Tupelo, Mississippi. Let's try it. Nothing on that one. Nothing from the Tupelo repeater in Mississippi. Well, it looks like about 100 miles is our limit there, 105 miles or so. It's a really hot day today. We're up here. There's not much else we seem to be able to do, and I'm just, of course, shooting straight into the horizon with this antenna, and that's where I've been trying to pick up all the repeaters at, is distant horizon towers. So I don't know, 100 miles is pretty good for a repeater, and like I said, we're beating out some of the repeaters in the area here just on performance alone, but they do artificially limit their coverage, so that's kind of a difference. Of course, if we go back to VFO mode here, here's my repeater, the KM4 OVZ repeater. And as you can see, it's a full-scale S9 signal. We're not that far from that one, but we are blocked by a mountain. So it looks like we're picking up a cop down there. Yeah. Looks like we picked up a cop driving around down there in the city. That's pretty funny. We're still picking them up here. But there you go, that is the Diamond NR-22LH 2-meter collinear antenna. I think it works really, really well. Definitely worth the time and effort if you're gonna build a setup like this for maximum performance. It is comparable to a lot of base antennas. It probably is about comparable to a Comet GP3 in terms of gain. It has 6.5 dBi of gain, and it does really, really well. So if you want something that performs like a base while being on a mobile, this is your best shot as far as I can tell. It does beat out the Hustler CG144 in terms of raw gain. And of course, even in a mountainous area like this, where you got a lot of hills and just general valleys and dips and bumps and stuff, it still beats out any regular little low gain antenna like the one we have mounted back here. It'll beat out this guy any day of the week. The only benefit for this little one I have is a backup. I just keep this one as a backup. But there you go. There's the Diamond NR-22LH 2-meter antenna. It works really good. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, 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 bye.